Okay, when installing the driver's side, that is North American version's left-hand drive kick panel, a couple of things that to note. Obviously, I see this extra piece of carpet here, which is probably supposed to be tucked underneath this piece here. Second of all, note that there's a hole here and a hole here. And I suppose those are supposed to line up with this bulkhead right here, where you can put your screw fasteners. And thirdly, I'm going to have to mark with a marker somewhere along here, cut a line, probably a relief in here, not up to the top, but maybe from here down, to allow the hood release, the bonnet release, to go through it, and then for the panel to lay back flush up against there. Okay, what you see that I've done is I've made a mark here to basically follow this relief right here, or this flange that holds the bracket that holds the bonnet release. Again, not going to cut all the way to the top, probably start here and work my way down. And that way this can be somewhat intact, and maybe I can even put some adhesive along here to help hold it closer to the wall. But it's basically only showing 2 points of mounting, like here and down here. And I may put a third one down here depending on how well this fits. One of the problems that I've encountered throughout my life when I'm running a fastener through a carpet is sometimes the thread on the screw will get caught up in the fabric, and all of a sudden it pulls out a line of fabric. So what I like to do, these are the two holes that we want the fastener to be coming through on this side. Of course, there's no way to find. It'd be like worse than Braille, trying to figure out where it's going. So what I'm going to do is I take a soldering gun like this here, and I did the same with the carpet early. Actually, I think I used it on the not so much the carpet, but the transmission tunnel gasket. But what I'm going to do is take that pencil soldering iron and poke a hole quickly through both sides. That will then leave a witness on this side, where the two holes are. And then it's simply a matter of taking the screw and putting it through. Now this, of course, has a special little washer. You can see a little cup washer that'll help distribute the load a little bit better as well. And in addition to that, once I kind of get it in position and I can poke it both directions, I can see where I've scored a mark on the inside of the inner fender, and then I can go ahead and pre-drill a tiny little pilot hole so that this will be easier to engage. These are, by the way, stainless steel fasteners. I've learned to use only stainless steel for a variety of reasons, but this is not anything that's structural, so it's primarily cosmetic, but these will always stay silver looking. I live in a humid environment, and cars, of course, are subject to all kinds of crazy temperature variations, humidity swings, etc. And because of that, the original fastener would probably corrode. Another reason to go with a tan or a brown interior, so that if you did have a bolt that corroded, you won't see it. Just kidding, of course. So once the pencil type soldering iron was hot, I went ahead and just did a quick little in and out like that. And now you can see the witness. There's one there, and there's one here. And that's all that's necessary. And now I can go ahead and simply take this piece, as well as another fastener, and run it in accordingly. It took a little bit of finessing, but basically the handle I put through the slit first, and then I had to push this hole forward, being mindful of this metal piece up here to sandwich, have this carpeted piece go behind it. And then once you push it far enough, this flange here can poke through. And it's going to require a third fastener down here. which then should hold everything nice and neat in place. So what I've done was I held this piece up against the inner fender. I went ahead and ran the drill through there. When you're operating the drill, be mindful that this drill bit does not catch any of the loose threads on here, otherwise you'll start unraveling your carpet. But when we had cauterized this with the pencil type soldering iron, that, in my opinion, significantly reduced the likelihood of snagging one of the loose threads and unraveling some of your carpet. So now the next step is going to be to take the fastener and put it in the hole, and then by feel, by braille, kind of move it around, find out where the pilot hole is that you drilled, and then go ahead and secure that most of the way, not all the way, but because you want to make sure that you're still making sure that this here is going to stay as close to here as possible, so that once you drill these two holes, you're committed. And then this third one will be merely to hold this piece in place. Now I had gone ahead and pre-ordered 2 different lengths of these screws. I think some of them were inch and inch and a half. What you got to be mindful of is how much gap you have back here between the inner fender and the outer fender. And sure enough, these were just a little bit too short, so I'm going to go back to my parts and secure the longer screws. I believe I paid about $8 or $9 for 100 or so of these screws, but you can see they came in 2 different lengths. And that little bit extra is what I needed to make this job happen. I was hoping I could get away with the shorter screw, but as it turns out, I have to use the longer one. Okay, by using a 1/4 inch ratchet, 1/4 inch socket, and a 6-point little 1/4 inch hex, one of these disposable bits, that fits nicely in there. And then I was able to hold pressure up against the fastener while I'm rotating, creating the thread. A simpler solution might be to go to a self-tapping screw, but I couldn't find those in stainless steel, and this is going to work just fine. The first one I've already got installed nice there, and once you move the carpet around a little bit, you won't even be able to see it, but you can see it right there. So now we have these 2 fasteners in. On the third one, I got lazy. Normally what I would have done was taken the cottering device, the soldering iron, pencil type soldering iron, and just poked a little hole there, even though there's no hole in the backing material, which is like a fiberboard. Instead, I got lazy. I decided to cut a corner, and I carefully just went ahead and started drilling, but noting that if I saw a thread from the carpet getting caught up on the drill bit, to stop immediately. And I was fortunate, nothing like that happened. And then I proceeded to drill all the way through into the inner fender piece here to provide the pilot hole. Now that all the fasteners are in place, this is solid. It's not going anywhere. I have nice access to the hood release, the bonnet release. Probably going to take a little razor and just trim a little bit there, provide a relief, and then maybe put some adhesive before I put the carpet back down, which will then complete the job. Well, I'm not ready to quit my day job yet, although I don't have a day job, truth be known, since I'm retired, but that's not bad for an amateur. It's acceptable to me. Maybe not concours, but then again, I sleep at night. I don't get wigged out over little imperfections. Now it's time for a little story why I went about changing out the carpeting in the car. Take a look at this. I bought this car, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago from one of the members of the local Triumph Club. Good guy. And he made me a very good deal on the car because it had been parked under a tree and on the north side, and some type of critters, I'm not sure what you would call them, moths, moth larva, whatever, had fallen into the car. And the entire carpeting in this car looked like this. Literally, there were straight lines where the critter was chewing away at the carpet. Now, bear in mind, this TR6 happens to be a 1973, so it's supposed to have synthetic carpet. But I have a strong suspicion that this is probably wool. I honestly can't tell the difference. I'm not that much of a connoisseur. But suffice to say, I do know that moths or moth larvae like to eat wool. So, that being said, he discounted the price accordingly. And I lived with it for a couple of years, and then we happened to have a flood here where I had about 20 inches of water. So what that necessitated was immediate removal of all the carpeting, cleaning up everything, and going through the car. And then finally doing the job that I've been procrastinating, and that is replacing all of the carpet. And I have to say that I'm very, very pleased. I had bought the kit from Moss Motors years ago. It was still brand new in the box, and finally got around to installing it. So now the good part is I can take this and finally dispose of it. I'm going to do it for all these years just to make sure that if I needed to note where the previous holes were, etc., that I could have utilized this as a template. But now it's going to go in the trash can. Oh yeah. Now to do the passenger side, which is the side I probably should have done first, because I would not have had to contend with the bonnet release. This one's just a straight panel, but should go significantly faster, not only because of that, but because I've already gone to school and learned how to do the driver's side. Okay, I spared you all the assorted details with regard to the passenger side kick panel, but basically the same thing. You triangulate, you put 3 points of contact. So both sides are done now, and we will call it good. This is indeed a great feeling to get rid of the last piece of old rotten carpeting